Hello, everyone. This is Jenny Fern, and today I'd like to share with you just a plain old garden vlog. It's been raining a lot recently. It's been quite stormy and cold for this area. And yeah, today it is not raining, and so I was able to do some gardening. It being a Saturday, and tomorrow I think it's going to rain more than it did today, which it might rain later today, but I'm not sure. Anyway, here I am over in this little side bed, and I'm putting in some lentils as I go on and kind of weed out these grasses and drop them on the ground to feed the soil. So I have a few things over here right now. It's quite dark over in this area in the winter time because the shade from that patio cover also shades out this little garden bed. But I'm just putting in these lentils until I run out of them because these are from a bag of lentils like for eating. And I poured out too many and I couldn't put them back in the bag. So I've been planting them all over the place. I love the way that lentils grow. I think they're very cute plants, and they're very satisfying to grow. And if I just grow a ton of them, then I might actually have enough lentils to eat something. Because last year, I think I had 4 lentil plants. And I didn't really have enough harvest to do that much. Maybe a cup of harvest, something like that. So here in the last video, I had that simple rainwater catching with this old detergent bottle. And you can see I do actually use that rainwater to water my plants. So I was bottom watering some of my cuttings and then sprinkling the tops of some of my seedlings, which I have under this cover. So they are actually struggling for sunlight. So I picked out a few seedlings that are a little bit more advanced, a little ready maybe to go into the garden. It's kind of a crapshoot with these plants, putting them out into the garden because they might get eaten by some pill bugs. So, that's just a risk that I'm willing to take. I actually saw, I think it's a cabbage that I forgot about that I planted in the front yard. It's like half eaten, but it's getting a little bit larger. So these are some perennial greens, some collards, and I think kohlrabi. So the collards I noticed are a little bit hairy. They're a little bit fuzzy. I planted the collards up in this front area. I'm hoping they'll get a lot of sun here. This is where my nasturtium was. I actually had a baby nasturtium growing that got killed by the freeze that we had the other night. And hopefully some nasturtiums come up in the spring after we have freezing weather. Here are my peas and my cat. My cat is over by my other pea, eating some grass. He's very majestic. Oh, he loves hanging out in the garden with me. I honestly don't notice him very much when I'm out gardening, but then I notice him sneaking around in the background of these videos. Here's some fava beans. I feel like I've just shown the same plants in all of these videos, but they're just so pretty. Here is a garbanzo bean, and it's still alive, which is funny because I thought they were frost intolerant, but maybe not. Some Swiss chard, which is vibrant but very small. And then again, I love showing off the broccoli flowers because they're just fun. So this is a fun thing. This is a cauliflower that I trimmed off, and then I noticed it was growing roots because I just threw it down in the pathway. And I planted it out, and that's what that cauliflower turned into. Now I'm probably going to get some additional seeds or flower heads from that little cutting. So it's kind of fun. So I planted out another one of those seedlings here, And I trimmed off some of the old gross bits of the artichoke and I laid them down. The thought is maybe I can distract the pill bugs with the artichoke leaves and they'll leave my little baby plant alone. We will see how this works. This is a stray cat in our neighborhood. We call her Gertie. So Gordon, we call him Gordy, and there's Gertie. So for Gertrude. And she won't let us that close to her. But as you can see, she's always screaming at us. And she hangs out in our yard all the time. We don't feed her or anything. This is her home, apparently. She likes to hang out under our little patio covering on the beams so that she's protected from anything on the ground and she's protected from the rain. So this is my compost pile that's a little bit older. I emptied out my wheelbarrow compost bin and put it into this trough. And I have some seeds sprouting in here. I covered this with an old mattress bag that a mattress was shipped in. And it was a thick enough plastic, and I covered the whole thing, that these actually did not die. Almost all of my potatoes that I covered those with plastic bags as well. Almost all of those died. But here you can see there are some sunflowers and some pumpkins that are still alive. And then I also have some radishes and stuff like that I actually planted in here. So I planted in some lentils. This isn't like a degrading sunflower head. And I noticed, I was like, oh, this is a sunflower head. I'm like, oh, these are all sunflower seedlings then. Popping up right underneath it. So that's kind of funny. Again, I'm just filling in bare dirt from this fence, this whole fencing thing. I'm just trying to fill it in with some lentils. I'm pretty sure they're nitrogen fixing and, might get some lentils out of it. And here I'm doing some harvesting of arugula. I had arugula that had gone to seed in both of my garden beds, and so I took a bunch of the seed and spread it all around. So I have arugula everywhere, and I love it. And then you can see this mint really is in this entire bed. It came with the house, this mint. It came with this garden bed. So I'm stuck with it. So I'll use it if I can. Actually really enjoy a mint tea. It's pretty relaxing. And it does use quite a lot of mint. So I don't feel completely overrun with the amount of mint that we're pulling in. And then you'll see here shortly, I'm anticipating it, that my dog comes out to see me. There she is. I don't know why she feels like she can just run through the garden beds, but she does. She doesn't really do any damage, I guess. But she loves tomatoes, and when the tomatoes were in the garden, she would actually pick them off the plant and eat them. So the yellow cherry tomatoes, she'd shove her nose into the plants and grab one. So, that's the only thing that she'll actually tear up and eat. I don't think she considers anything that's in the garden beds right now food. So again, I'm harvesting from a little patch of arugula. Maybe you'll notice in the foreground there's a very sad dead potato that I really did try to save. I don't know at this state if the potatoes will come up again and, still be alive, if under the ground there's enough going on there to do more with, which is kind of a bummer. I think I only really saved 2 of the potatoes, and I think I had 6 or 8 little, maybe more than that. But yeah, we've thinned the numbers of potato sprouts that are still alive. But I still have some old potatoes in my pantry that I can plant out in the spring when it's nice and warm. Well, not fully nice and warm, but when it's not going to freeze at night. You can see here I'm harvesting from this large green mustard. I get quite a lot of leaves off of that still. Here in my little side garden, I have these fava beans. These had gotten trampled a bit, but they're alive, and I'm able to harvest some of the larger, still tender leaves off of the plants. And at the base of this fava bean, I have arugula, which when the plant was trampled, they've kind of been shaded out a little bit. So, but still, I've got food coming up, even despite the trampling. So here we're in the front yard. Very exciting, I know. I have built up the courage to film up here. Now that I have a transparent fence, I guess. I don't know. I feel slightly more protected. So I am planting out some of the seedlings that I had set aside at the beginning of this video. The wood chips I have here are really, really holding in a lot of moisture since it's been raining so much, and they're degrading quite nicely. But I'll dig to when I get to the bare ground, the actual dirt, and then I'll put the seedling on top of that dirt, basically, and then I'll put the wood chips all around it. I'm not sure if that's exactly how you're supposed to plant into this wood chipped kind of thing. If I don't, though, the wood chips are going to be too tall over the plant, right? So that's how I do it. And then I planted another one over here, and I thought I'd been recording, but I hadn't been. So here's just that aftermath of patting down the sides. And then I found some other spot to plant the remaining seedling. And now again, I'm just picking some fava bean leaves. That's most of what I have in the front is the fava beans right now. I have some things that are kind of getting ready to go. I also have that sweet alyssum that you can see. But in the front, I have daikons. I have all of the things that I had just planted in the previous video, which clearly are not ready yet. And I have onions, and then I have like perennial stuff, so the artichokes and things like that. So not things that are ready to be harvested right now. So here is the harvest from the day, which I think is my biggest harvest of the year. And I'm not going to go into great detail of the quantities and all of that, because I will actually cut in here in the moment and tell you all of what I have. Again, not the quantities of leaves, although I did record that. I'm thinking with the greens, it's actually quite time consuming to count everything. Well, I don't even think I marked down that I picked chives, because I was like not going to count them anyway. So I'm thinking for the summertime, when the harvests are actually like, huge, there's no way I'm going to actually individually count like the number of cherry tomatoes or whatever. I'll just do it all by weight. So yeah, you can see a nice big pile of greens, although some of this is mint, and it's not like I'm going to eat the mint in this, like as a salad or something. I'm going to dry it and use it for tea. Although I'm guessing I could find some recipe where mint would actually not be super weird and overpowering. I don't usually cook with it, and I think it's kind of a strange flavor with most things. So I'm not brave enough. So today is the 30th. It's a weekend, and it's not raining. It's been raining a lot recently, and I was able to harvest some greens that have been accumulating outside, especially with all this rain. It also had been very cold, so I did lose some of my tender stuff despite trying to cover it, because we had like a really hot weekend, and then we had a really cold weekend, at least for this area. So this is arugula. Here is a cute little lettuce. I believe this is black-seeded Simpson, but I'd have to look it up. I also have like a little red lettuce, but this one is so cute. They're both very small right now, so I harvest don't know, like a leaf every few days. Maybe less than that. Here's some chard. It's very small right now. It's quite old, these plants. Here are some red mustards. The plants that produce these are quite close together, and so they actually make pretty small little leaves compared to the one in the front, which is all by itself. Here are some small, old cabbage leaves from the cabbage that I still have left over from last year. This is a perennial green. Again, I don't know exactly what it is. It was from a mixed seed pack purchased from Plant Abundance. They're also from California, not super far away, so I thought it would be good seeds for me to use because they should be somewhat adapted to this area. This is cauliflower greens. When cauliflower and broccoli are young, the greens are huge and they're awesome, especially broccoli greens. I find they're delicious. Like pretty severely cooked down and with some balsamic vinegar. It's really good. And you can cut the stems. The stems are really pretty thick on the leaves, and you can cut them into like little medallions, and those are delicious. But anyway, now that the plants are going to flower, the leaves are quite small, but they're also like really tender. So I've been picking some of these cauliflower greens. So I have these tiny little broccoli florets, I guess. My broccoli is going to flower right now after being alive for probably a full year now. I probably started it in my window this time last year. And anyway, I am just picking some of them that have not fully bloomed, so I can add this to like some pasta or something. It's not a ton, but whatever. Add some diversity in vegetables. This is all mustard greens. I have one plant that's just massive, and it has been kind of trying to go to flower for a while, not super successfully. So I've just been picking off of it in the meantime. These are some sweet alyssum blossoms. I just pick the little flower head. This can be added to salads or to cooked greens or whatever. They're a little bit peppery. I really like spicy or peppery greens, so like the arugula, mustards, and the sweet alyssum. Also, dandelion. I really love that flavor, so I use that a lot. Here's another perennial green. This is from the front yard, and you can see it's quite large. So I pick again a couple leaves every other harvest, I'd say. And then these are all fava bean leaves. Now that I have some fava beans kind of growing actual beans, I get some smaller, skinnier leaves, I've noticed, than kind of these big leaves that seem to be more prevalent on slightly younger plants. So here I have some chives. These just pop up in the grass in kind of early spring. I'm guessing somebody put them here a long time ago, or I don't know how long ago, but I did not plant these chives. I also did not plant this mint, but I harvested some because it's really cute and adorable right now, popping up all this new growth. And so I thought I'd just trim it down a little bit, allow my other plants to grow a little bit more in that garden bed, because this will overtake it. And then here is one big, let's show the whole thing off, big giant onion green. So I am growing onions in the front yard, and occasionally I'll just pick off of a very vibrant onion. I'll pick off one of the greens to use if I wanted to, say, saute all of this mustard or all these greens in general. Then I could also chop up this onion green to add a little bit more flavor. So that's my harvest for today. So back up. So pretty exciting. It's quite a lot. I also still have all of my greens from my harvest from a few days ago. So I can eat a big old healthy meal at some point soon, whether it's a salad or sauteed. I really do like sauteed greens. So that is it. So I also wanted to share a recipe for what I had for lunch, basically, using some of the greens. These are actually using my older arugula greens. They're like 5 days old, because for some reason I just didn't have the energy within me to use any of my produce this last work week. So I'm using it now before it goes bad. So this is arugula greens, salt, olive oil, a clove of garlic, and some pecans. I'm basically making like a very faux pesto without any of the basil flavor. I really enjoy the flavor of arugula, and it's great on toast. That is it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you for watching.